Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. This is a muddled video, and it's because of a very muddled and relatively complex deal I needed to do. The film clip you've just seen is from the show yesterday, the RHS show in London, and it's a film of part of a display. Okay, so these plants are not for sale. You'd think. Anyway, I spotted this on Cydium, and it just went to the list of I'm going to get this by hook or by crook, and I don't care that it's in the display. We're going to do a deal here somehow. So what I've done is I've taken a snapshot of the video so that can just sit there while I rabbit away, which I do. Right, so it's in a display. Those plants are not for sale. They are to take around to the shows to display their wares so that they can then sell their plants. That's how it works. And an RHS show, if you mess about with a display before the set down time on the last day, you'll be banned. You literally will not be allowed back there. They are very strict. The displays are put up and judged, and they are there for all to see for the entirety of the show. So you're not allowed to touch them. So bearing that in mind, we go round and we have a chat to the guy once we found him, because he was off. I think he was doing a talk actually. But anyway, I eventually found the guy. So, hi, how are you? How's business going? Bearing in mind they'd moved the show to a weekday, which was iffy in my mind. But talking to the traders, it seems to have worked. The footfall on the first public day was high. So the traders were pleased. I had a chat with Sarah and Arthur from Burnham's, and Lawrence from Lawrence Hobbs, and my good friend Mr. Lecouf, all the way from French France. And they all seem to be doing okay. So, put that aside, then it looks like the show was a success. Although what's happening today, on the last day of the show, we don't know, because we're not there. Therein lies the problem. We'd gone on the first public day. So I found my guy, who all the way from Peru, to sell his wares. Nice display, yeah. I'm interested in the, on Cydium, in your display. The plant's not for sale. Yeah, I know that, but I still want it. And he said, well, maybe I can sell it to you, but you can't have the plant until the end of the show tomorrow. If you come back at 5 o'clock tomorrow, I'll see what I can do. I can't come back tomorrow. I'm on a coach trip today, and today I go home. That's it. So it sounds, impossible, doesn't it? Nothing's impossible. Put your mind to things. So I said to the guy, well, I still want to buy one. What do you want for the plants? There were 3 in the display, 3 separate plants. They were actually potted in underneath the display moss, so they were potted, and I could see some roots near the top of the pots because I poked around when no one was looking. And basically we did a deal, and he said, well, yes, I will sell you a plant. So next problem, do you take cards? No, cash only. Well, I don't carry cash around with me, especially in London. If you haven't got it on you, they can't take it away from you. That's my view. So anyway, now I've got no money. So, right, we go and have a chat to my good friend Lawrence and say, Lawrence, can I do a cash card deal with you? I give you my card and you give me money. Yeah, I can do that for you. Yeah, no problem. And I said, don't forget your markup, because all card transactions cost the person, selling a fee. He said, oh, don't worry about that. I've known you for years. So anyway, I got my cash and went back to the guy, and we struck the deal. I chose the plant out of the 3 that I wanted. He wrote down my details, put a bit of sticky tape on the paper and stuck it to the inside of his bench so that he would see it permanently, because he had to remember the next day to not put that plant away and actually put it to one side. Well, then we've got another problem. The plant's still in London, paid for, and I'm back in Christchurch. So we go over to our good friends at Burnham's and we have a chat to Arthur. Arthur how much do you charge to post an orchid from your nursery? He said it's a fixed fee. It's well, it was just under £10, which is it's quite high for a UK postage. But when you want something bad enough, you sort of think. I said, look, I know this is going to be a bit of a cheek, but I've just bought a plant from one of the other traders, and it's in their display. And he said, hoo, you were lucky. Because obviously people are not supposed to sell until the sell-off point, not in advance. So I said, well, I've done the deal. I've paid for the plant. Would you take it home with you and then post it to me? Because obviously they're a UK nursery. And he said, haven't been asked to do that before. Yeah, I don't see why not. If you pay me for the postage now, and he said, I won't be able to go and get the plant. Whoever you bought that plant from will have to bring it to me. I mean, their display at Burnham's was vast. You know, their set down, which is in a limited amount of time. They get an hour before the end of the show where they're allowed to sell some of the display plants if people are there at the end of the show to buy them. So you get an hour. And then after that, they've got to pack up and get out really fast so that the hall can be got back to how it should be, possibly ready for something in the evening, you know. So it's a bit of a panic. So he said, I can't be mucking about, wandering around, looking for people's plants and stuff. He said, oh, okay, give me a minute. So I go back to the guy from Peru and say, Arthur on the Burnham stall is happy to take the plant from you, but he insists that you take him the plant. So, you know, during the set down phase, is it okay for you to take the plant I've chosen and paid for over to him and, you know, tell him this is for me? Yes, I can do that. That's no problem at all. So we got everything worked out. So we bought from trader number 1, got the money from trader number 2, the plant's going to trader number 3, it's going back to sunny Devon, where their nursery is, and then sometime next week when they do their packing and posting, because I think they only do that one day a week, I think he said Tuesday, and then sometime next week it'll be boxed up and posted back to me. So, as I said, this is an unusual new orchid video, because I haven't got the flipping thing yet, and I'm probably not going to get it for over a week, or around a week. But I videoed it, so you've seen it, I just haven't got it. So, how about that for an unusual deal then? Okay, the rest of this video is I did actually buy one plant normally, you know, where I chose my plant, gave somebody some money, and came away with that plant. So I'll go out in the kitchen now and we'll have a look at that. It's not an unboxing, it's an unwrapping. And unfortunately, it's one that I fancied. It's from a trader I'm not that trusting of. Basically because they come across from Ecuador and everything is bare rooted and wrapped up like in bags, and you can't get at what's inside the bag until you buy the plant. So I haven't got a clue what's going to be inside this thing, but we'll go out in the kitchen and have a look. So it's a haul of 2, but you only get to see one. We'll see the other one when it arrives. Okay, out to the kitchen then. Okay, this is the one I actually bought and brought home with me, haul of 1. It's Latoria Den. It's a good mature plant. As I said, it's not a seller I trust that much. I know some people have had problems with things they've bought from them. And don't worry about that price, that's not what I paid for it. You know me, I never pay full price. I just don't. If somebody's not prepared to haggle, they can keep the flipping thing. That's quite a high price, but then it is a mature plant, you know. I mean, somebody's had to look after that for 4 or 5 years and get it out of a flask and, you know, all those sorts of things, unless it's a division, of course. This is the problem with the way they sell. These roots could have been wrapped up in here for some time. You know, the guys from Ecuador come across from Ecuador to the UK, well, to Europe, and maybe other places, I don't know, relatively early in the year, with a shed load of plants and go round some of the shows and sell their plants. And they can't go back and get some more overnight, can they? Not to Ecuador. Yeah, so what they bring over is what they've got. And the problem with that is, this could have been in here for some time. Could have totally desiccated, well, the canes aren't badly desiccated. I mean, it feels slightly damp, so some precautions have been taken. But let's see if we can get in here without cutting anything fragile off. As I say, I bought from them once some years ago, and quite honestly, when I got home and unwrapped the plants, I was far from happy, and I thought, well, I'm not flipping buying from them again. It's not worth the risk because I can't see what I'm getting properly. But this was worth the risk, I suppose. We shall see. Okay, that moss is slightly damp, but not soaking wet, so we shouldn't have any rot or anything like that, which we haven't, looking quickly. Although most of these roots are bad. Most of these roots are not viable, but they are there. So that's not a good root system by any means. But what made me choose this plant was this. It has got a really nice new growth. So in the not too distant future, this growth will put out new roots. I don't see any signs yet, but we can work on that. And a few of these roots close to that new growth aren't too bad. You know, these are, I'm not sure they're dead or just desiccated actually. Well, I'm going to keep some of these roots so that I can get it in a pot, and I'll put it in quite a small pot. Now there's no signs of mould or anything like there was in the last few that I bought. And quite honestly, I don't see there's actually another new growth just starting there. I couldn't see that because it was wrapped up. Yeah, I mean, this has all the hallmarks of being grown from this, and parts of this are coming off. Yeah, you give some space for things to come out. Is that a new growth there? No, that's one of the oldest ones. So once upon a time, that was the plant, this tiny little bit here, and it's grown on over the years. Put up some full-size canes, and oh, while we're at it, I must do this now, this is important. I made an almighty mistake in a video recently, and it was at the point where I rearranged some stuff and I didn't have any room to put my Dendrobium harveyanum back where it was, because I'd put 2 Latorias up there to get better light. And I made a statement, I said, because these need intense light, you know, almost to the point of singeing the leaves. Now, where the hell that statement came from, I cannot think, because it's wrong. You do that to your Latorias, you'll kill the flipping things. There is an odd 1 or 2 in that classification that do like intense light. But under normal circumstances, you can think of a Latoria dendrobium exactly like you would a Dendrobium phalaenopsis type hybrid. Yeah? They're continuous growers, they don't have a winter rest, they like to stay warm, and they don't like to stay dry for any length of time at all. Bordering on the, just as you get near dryness, give them a water. I think the expression is mildly moist most of the time. There's a lot of mud in there, but you know, that's what they like. So where I got that statement from, I don't know. All I can think of is that I was thinking of another plant which I do have a problem with, and it's light related, and my thoughts came out at the wrong point in the video. So for goodness sake, don't follow that advice, you'll frazzle your Latorias. And thank you for Terry TD Moore for pointing that out to me, because I hadn't noticed the almighty cock up, quite honestly. Okay, so anyway, that's the where's the flipping lens? That's the company involved, and as I said, you know, if you're buying from these guys, you tend to get bare rooted stuff presented the way I've just shown you, wrapped up. So I won't say I'm over the moon with the plant, but what I am over the moon with is, again, information from Terry that Latorias can bloom any time from the apex of mature canes, and sometimes again farther back down the cane, you know, later on. And looking at these canes, I mean, that is definitely an embryo, where's the camera? An embryo spike, yeah? That probably is, and that could be. So potentially I've got 4 mature canes there that can bloom any time. There doesn't seem to be a predictable time according to Terry. They just decide to bloom, and once they do, they're off basically, and seem to do it frequently with lovely long-lasting blooms. I'll see if I can wind up a picture and steal a picture of that, but I have seen that. I have seen Roy Tokunaga White Knight. I've seen pictures of that, and I remember it registering in my tiny little mind that if I ever see that, I'm going to get it because I like it. So that's what I've done. Right, I'm going to go and get potting stuff and that, and we'll shove that in a pot, get it staked because it's very top heavy. Okay, I've faffed around. I'm going to have a go at something that I haven't personally done before, but I've seen it done and I know it works. So I've actually prepared 2 holes, one each side of this pot. The idea being that I'm going to have a go at this skewer effort and the leverage that forces the rhizome into the top of the media and helps hold this plant secure. This is a air cone pot. I don't like these pots. I mean, this is reusing a pot. They're really flimsy, yeah? There's not much substance to them. But I don't envisage this plant being in there long. But anyway, you can see it's an air cone. It's got a recess there, lots of slits, lots of holes, plenty of air getting in at the base. And to assist that, we'll put some chunky bark in, because if the small media gets down against those holes, they'll just block it up, and then the air doesn't get in. Okay, the mix I'm going to use is mainly small bark. There's some medium bark in there as well, so I still do want some air around the roots, and some moss. If it likes to stay moist and continuously grow and not totally dry out, the moss will help that. The grass won't. Right, let's see what we can do then. I want to keep the moss mainly for the top of the plant, so we'll put the bits with not too much moss in first. Now I've trimmed some of the roots off, and some of the roots I've left on I'm still not sure about, and I'm pretty sure that root's dead. But I don't want to take too many roots off, or there's nothing to hold the plant. Now that's my new growth, and unfortunately back here that looks like what might be a secondary growth. And the other bit of good news is we did actually cut the back end of the plant off. That's good. What we don't need is to have a multicoloured arrangement. Now this is not going to be that easy, because as I put the plant in the pot, I've got to be thinking about where that stick's going to go to hold the rhizome down, rather than thinking about where I want to really put the plant. Yeah, it needs to go about there. And if it's going to work and hold it, I think I need a little bit more media to raise it slightly, otherwise I just won't get the leverage when I put that stick across the rhizome. It's got to be able to force it down a bit as it goes in the hole. We'll try that. Where's the stick going to go? The stick's going to go across there, which means that new growth will come up this side of it. That's already established, that side of it. And if this pushes out new growth, it's got some room. I'm not giving this plant a lot of room, simply because it probably won't stay in this pot too long. You know, it's not destined to live in here forever. It's destined to get a decent root system in this pot, at which point it can be moved on and put in something which will allow it to expand better. I suspect a good few of those roots are just going to die in the pot, which is another reason for not planning on it staying in this pot too long. That's also a good reason for not having a huge pot, because you know, if you plan on potting a plant on in the not too distant future, why waste your media in a big pot that you're going to end up repotting and throwing that media away? So you know, it's not the best of ideas, is it? It's not exactly cheap. Okay, let's battle that as best I can. As I said, I can't go too mad forcing media down in there, but that looks pretty dense. Yeah, there's no air pockets or anything, so I think it's done its job. And this is the bit where you find out that the plant's too high and you can't get your stick through. Now, I've deliberately left the pointed end on there because it will go through the hole easier. And the idea is that you point this upwards and then bring it down across the plant and line it up with the other hole. And probably break the stake because your plant's a bit too high. I knew there'd be a downside in this. I can just about do that. Obviously I didn't want to start making the holes in the pot with the plant in there. That's actually got that. Yeah, that really has got that. Oh, you know, I like that. Thank you, whoever suggested that. I've seen it done many times before, don't get me wrong. But, you know, when somebody suggests something in a comment, it brings that idea back into your mind as a fresh idea. You can't remember everything you've ever seen. You know, I don't think anybody's memory is that good. Mine certainly isn't. So anyway, that's it. And we'll just get the big stuff out. Trim the ends of those sticks off. Otherwise they'll knock against things. Or that stick. And I don't need to stake that now. That's it. That one operation has done the job. I like that. So whoever suggested that as an idea, thank you. I think several people did actually. Watching me struggling to get a plant secure with a couple of stakes that weren't really hanging on properly. Right, so the base of the rhizome is not buried. I presume you can see, where are you? There. Yeah, so the base of the rhizome is not buried. It's just the rhizome and the bulbs are sat on it, not in it. As I said, that's my latest new growth. That's the one that's going to push out the best root system fastest. And then the other new growth is lurking down there. And I got a feeling I saw a third one in there somewhere. But anyway, hopefully some of the roots that I've buried in the pot are viable at some point and can push out some branches or carry on growing. I didn't see any green root tips, that was for sure. But we'll see how it does now. As I say, it's if I can find a pop-up of the bloom, I'll have probably already done that. So that's that one. Put the tag in. Never forget these flippy floppy tags. They're great for trying to get in the pot. They just bend. But that'll do until I create my own. And there, that's that one done. Okay. Thanks for watching. Thanks for dropping by. There will be a show vid, but it will be incredibly short. I was in chatty mood at the show. I met up with a lot of old friends. I met up with quite a few YouTubers. That was nice. A couple I'd never met before. Archie was there. I got a brief glimpse of John. I think he might have had to go somewhere because he didn't stay long, but I at least said hello. That's good. And yeah, and lots of old friends from other orchid societies and, you know, various places. Make friends with traders again. That's always worth doing. And yeah, it was a good day. And then we spent about 2 hours sitting in London traffic trying to go home. Yeah, and that's London traffic for you. That don't go away. That doesn't change. I lived there many, many, many years ago and the traffic was bad then. Yes, it's worse now, but it's just always been bad. That's what cities are like. Okay, see you next time then. Thanks for watching.